Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to give it a couple minutes here to let people join, and then we're going to get started. All right, we're getting pretty close to the top of the hour. As you guys join, if you want to drop in the chat where you're watching from, and any experience you have already trying to use social media to promote your properties and get more bookings. Always love to hear what's been working or if there's any specific challenges, something you've been trying to learn with social media. I'll do my best to answer those questions specifically. Today, we'll get to do a great overview that will leave you with some general knowledge on how you can start using social media to increase your bookings without having to pay influencers. I don't know how many of you have received those booking inquiries where they want to stay for free, they want to get paid to do it. Sometimes it's pretty expensive. And from a lot of the people we've talked to, they don't always result in a booking. From some of the people I know that have done it, they've given them unique booking codes so that they can track this. And it just hasn't seemed to pan out partnering on these expensive influencer campaigns all the time. So I figured today would be a great opportunity to talk everybody through what it's like to do some social media on their own, take it into their own hands, increase their bookings. People are starting to trickle in, so and we're a minute in. I want to respect your time. So I'm going to go ahead and get us over to our presentation for the day. Let's see if we can get this working. There we go. And let's make sure it's actually sharing the whole page. Okay, awesome. You should be able to see our presentation today, social media marketing without paying influencers. Boost your bookings without spending money. I'm a huge fan of free. If you don't know me already, my name is Ashleigh. I'm the director of sales here at Savvy STR Agents, which means I have a hand in helping all of our partners around the country secure profitable properties. If you need anything, reach out to me. We'll have our QR code here at the end. I'm always happy to help and make sure that we are providing an amazing experience for you guys. If you are new to Savvy in general and you've not met us yet, welcome. We are located all around the country in every top market, as well as lifestyle asset markets. So we can help you find a property that works for you and your goals, wherever that is. You know, we've got beachfront, we've got the Sedona market, getting those retreats in the desert set up, wedding venues, Ohio. We've got everywhere you might want to be. And we can help you figure out what the right market is for you. Awesome. Today we're going to start with the basics of social media. If you want social media to work for its intended purposes of increasing your bookings in this situation, you need to understand who you are talking to. So that comes up in a few different ways. Number one, are you going to be posting on Instagram if your target audience, people who come to your market, people who would rent your type of property, if they are 70 years or older, they're probably not on TikTok. So if you're going to pick a platform that suits your audience, I would highly recommend looking up some of the current statistics for this. Identify who it is that's typically booking your property. Are you a super property hosting family reunions? Who's the person in charge of that? It's probably grandma, or sometimes mom is the one wrangling everybody in. They're the people that are going to be interested in seeing the content about your property and about the experience that your property will provide to them. So you really need to understand your audience. Who is it? Is it families, couples, retirees, people that are there for an adventure? A lot of you probably are very familiar with why they're coming because I'm in the Hocking Hills and we're located next to one of the largest state parks in the country. Okay, well, you have people that are most likely searching for hiking, maybe climbing, nature. You want to be able to speak to those experiences. And we're always thinking about how does your property work in tandem with the experience that people are wanting? What is it that these people care about when they come? Are they somebody looking for a really luxury experience, great beds, soft sheets, amenities? A family might be really interested in how your property helps make sure they have a great vacation. Hey, those little knickknacks that you forget all the time, beach toys, stuff that's a pain to pack in the car and bring with you and then bring back. We provide that. We make your experience great. So start with understanding that. Write it all out into a list. Who is my audience? Who is making this booking? What do they care about? What kind of experience is it that they want? So you really want to figure out from that angle, not from your angle as the property owner or the host. We have a different idea as property owners and hosts of what makes our property so great. And that might not translate to what people are interested in when they are looking at us online. We might be thinking that it's really, really important that we have great communication with our guests. And our guests might not care about that until it's time to stay with us. When they're looking at booking, they might not really think that that's important when they're booking what they think about as being important. Things like access to coffee, comfortable stay, layout of the bedrooms, things to do, proximity to the attractions in the area. So, again, know what they're looking for, figure out how you're going to speak to those, create that list of the high level things people care about. And the amazing thing about social media is that you don't need to come up with new ideas every time you want to post. You need to know what the most important topics are and then just find new ways to continue to talk about them. So it's great. You don't have to sit there and try and think about all the things that you need to remember. Oops, I went the wrong way. Sorry, guys. Okay, filming. This is something a lot of people come to me with concerns about. Like I just don't know. I'm not the expert with my iPhone, my Android, whatever it is. It is so much simpler than you're thinking it is. It takes a little bit of practice, but the only way we get better at something is by doing it, right? So get out there, get to your property, even if it's just on, let's say, a cleaning day assuming you're local. If not, you might just be having your manager, your co-host, grab some footage for you. Maybe you're making a trip out there, staying in the property yourself, and grabbing some footage while you're there. Um, it's really, really simple. I'll give you the tips here. Pick great times of day. So, shooting in natural light, you might have a property that's great for stargazing. iPhones have a difficult time picking up low light. So, it would be a better idea for those types to bring out a videographer or use your photos that your photographer has provided you. They'll be much higher quality than what a phone will pick up. Try to aim for more natural lights. Sunset is a really good time. You just want to pick like the earlier half of the sunset, not the second half when light gets really low. So you can showcase those beautiful views still. When you are filming, focus on really slow movements. We get a little panicked sometimes when we're doing this and we move too quickly. The great thing about editing is it's a lot easier to speed something up than it is to slow something back down. So if you go too slow and later you're trying to post it and you're like, this is boring, it's the world's slowest panorama over the kitchen, you can just go ahead and use an editing software. Like Instagram released their editing software edits, and it's really simple to select your clip and speed it up so that it works a little bit faster, a little bit better. When you're in there filming, try to pan the same direction every time. If you start left and go right, follow that same pattern for every shot. If you go left to right, right to left, it can be a little chaotic and it just doesn't feel as good to a viewer watching the video. So you might not get as many results as you wanted. So you can take one of every room left to right and then do one right to left. So you have both sets. This is just your property. So you can reuse these same pieces of footage a few times for different topics. You don't have to have a brand new film every time you want to make a post. So don't overthink that. Just get tons and tons of footage. You go find ways to use it later. That way you don't have to go to your property every single week or every single month to get new content. You just have a folder filled with it. If you want to do walking shots, walking tours, or like going from the inside of the bedroom out into a great deck and showing the view, bend your knees slightly. It helps make you a little bit more stable. Tuck your elbows in so they're kind of resting somewhere. Hold the phone with both hands and breathe really slowly while you move. That will help it stabilize if you don't want to invest in a gimbal or something like that. Gimbals can be a really, really cool way to get very stable shots. So I highly recommend investing in one. It's not that expensive, and you can even pick them up on Facebook Marketplace for super cheap from all the crushed influencer dreams. So don't forget to take a look at that and see if you can pick one up. If you get lots of good shots of that movement, you can do them through the house, you can do them onto those views, you can do them through the exterior. Just like I said, take lots and lots and lots of footage. When we're shooting for social media, it's ideal to shoot with your phone vertically. It's best for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikToks. It's really the ideal format for watching on the phone. But if you are maybe taking some footage because you want to do longer YouTube videos, take some, flip it horizontal, and get separate footage that way. It is so, so difficult, you guys, to resize footage correctly and have it look nice. Just get, like I said, we're just here to collect as much content as possible anytime you are at your property and able to do it. Next, let's talk a little bit about how do you stand out. You're competing with a lot of different content out there, right? We have the influencers, we have hotels, we have other STR owners, you have real estate agents. There's a lot of content. And so, how is it that you stand out? Well, number one, remember your goal is not necessarily to be viral. You're not here to become Mr. or Mrs. Influencer. You're here to increase your bookings. And that does not mean that 5 million people need to follow you. It means that the right people need to follow you. So in order to do that, we're going to make and optimize our videos as best as we can. Number one, using a hook. If you've never heard of a hook, there's three main types. There's a hook that is text, there's a hook that's audio, and then there's a hook that's visual. A hook in text form might be something like, I bet you didn't know about this hidden gem in Branson. That, right? That's going to get people to stop for a second that are interested in Branson and go, do I know about this? It makes them want to watch the video and find out. An audio hook can be something like, think about when you're watching something and there's like a record scratch sound, and all of a sudden the video stops, and it's kind of like, what's going to happen next? You can use that audio various ways using trending audios as well. And then visual, that can include things like movement, starting out with a shot that is very dynamic, maybe a little unexpected. That's why a lot of people have drone videos taken. You can also create some movement. This you go to YouTube University for this one. If you have a great drone photo and you want to turn it into a video, you can do that using key frames, and create a zoom. It makes it look like it's video. So you can still use that photo for your reels if you want and create that visual hook. It's very appealing to people to see a different perspective. Um, Adding fun transitions, that can be a huge way to get people to stop and really engage and see the property and experience it. Transitions can be anything as simple as, you take the camera, you're doing your slow pan, and then it passes a wall. The next reveal, you're actually going the exact same direction as if you never stopped moving, and now you're in a different room. It can keep people watching for longer, which boosts the amount of people that hopefully see your video that are interested in staying in, the White Mountains. So you can add fun transitions. They tend to be a little bit, they're more on the intermediate level of editing and filming. So if you're not there yet, don't worry about it. They're by no means necessary. If you've been trying to make content and you're interested in stepping it up and trying something new, highly recommend practicing some transitions and doing it at your own home. If you are needing to go on location to take footage, it's difficult to learn while you're there. Practice in your own home. Just go take the footage as if it were your short-term rental. And then post-production, so once you have the footage, you can use those editing apps to speed up or slow down footage for dynamic pacing. Keeping things dynamic helps retain attention spans. We're in the world of 30-second informational videos, which means people now have an attention span of approximately 2 seconds. So how are you going to keep people engaged the whole time and continuing to pay attention? So use that to your advantage and speed it up, slow it down, go back and forth. You can watch tons of really cool examples on Instagram. If you just look up real estate videos, it doesn't have to be short-term rental specific. And you can see how people are using that to their advantage, where maybe they speed up through a hallway that's a little boring, and then it slows down right when you get to the grand living room, the really great impression that you want to make. So it helps also move that focus onto what you want people to see about your property, right? Places you might slow down, fire pits, pickleball courts, putt-putts, saunas, really well-stocked coffee bars, all the things that you want to highlight about what makes your property a great experience. Next, I want to talk about lifestyle. Lifestyle content, we often see people putting out model calls, and I love them. I love lifestyle content. I think it really helps people envision what staying at your property would be like. And it really creates kind of something different than just seeing a plain property, right? It's visually interesting, it's relatable for people. But if you are somebody that is like, I just can't reinvest back into this, I can't find anybody, congratulations, you can hire yourself. You can go be the model for the day. If you've never done this before and you don't want to, again, invest in things like gimbals or tripods, you can just prop your phone up against something. I've done this all the time. I have a water bottle with me, I find a counter, and I just set my phone up and start recording. It's a little difficult. You got to kind of check and make sure that the frame is the way you want it. You might need to watch it back and take a couple shots, but you can just prop it up and shoot away. You can film yourself really enjoying those spaces that are an experience in your property. Some really cool shots I've seen. People fluffing the comforters, duvets, or blankets, right? That's something people are really concerned about with Airbnbs. Am I going to be comfortable there? That's a great thing to highlight. The coffee bars, again, filming yourself, just grabbing the coffee mug out, and then the shot shows how many K-cups you offer, or that you have an espresso machine, and you can get really fun footage of just the espresso pouring. And like I said, you get to use this again and again and again. So film yourself enjoying those spaces. Take the shot on the putt-putt course. You know, you can do unlimited things and make it stand out that way. It's really here to help show guests what it feels like to stay at the property. So you're just kind of doing normal things somebody would do, just enjoying the property. Feel free to grab voluntary spouses, voluntary children, anything. They can absolutely participate and make great content. You'd be surprised. It can feel a little awkward, and then when you look back on it, it looks so natural. So don't be afraid to get into it. All right. Where you can really sell your reach and your property is in the captions and the hashtags. So the video is there to serve as grabbing the attention of people, and some of those people are people that would book with you. The caption is where you really get to tell the story of your property. This is where you can sell it. So you can explain how what you're showing improves the experience, right? Let's take the coffee example. You've got a great video highlighting your coffee bar, showing the different options. And now you can use that caption to really explain when you stay at the Mega Mansion Airbnb, you can expect that you will never be out of coffee. Um, when you're about to take your kids off to Disney World, you don't need to worry about stopping to get coffee before rope drop. Something like that, something that helps relate it. And you can go through the different things that you offer. Maybe you offer our custom stocking of the coffee bar with creamers and flavors. Whatever it is, take that caption. It can be really, really long, so you can go into as much detail as you want. And it also helps that now you don't need to sit there and narrate your tours. You don't need to talk while filming. That adds a layer of complexity and it makes it harder to reuse footage. If you can just get that into your caption and use the caption to sell the story of what is going on in your property, you will have such an easy time creating content all year. So, hashtags, you want to have a mix. A lot of people tend to copy and paste the exact same list of hashtags with every post. Instagram, and a lot of the apps, they kind of flag that as spam behavior after a while. They get worried that it's just spam. So I don't really recommend copy and paste the exact same hashtags every single time, but you can have a few core hashtags that you always use. I like to use a mix of things that are going to speak to my audience, right? So if you're in Orlando, guess what? You're the Disney World vacation, Disney World hotels, best places to stay at Disney. Things that if you think about the experience and what your guests care about, that's what they're searching on social media. There's a chance that they're searching for short-term rentals in Orlando, but a lot of times when people get on social media planning a vacation, they're really kind of looking for inspiration. They're in their earlier phases of planning their trip. They're looking to compile the list of, hey, I saw this restaurant on Instagram. It looks so good. We have to make sure we try it, put it and add it to the itinerary. I saw this hotel. I saw this short-term rental. I saw this Airbnb, whatever it is, they're saving that or they're going through to plan their trip based on what they're finding. So you want to use that hashtag that speaks to them. Hashtag Airbnb, that's a pretty general one. It's not a bad one to throw in there every once in a while. But if I'm planning a trip to Branson, Missouri, I'm not searching the word Airbnb on Instagram. That's not going to help me. I might search places to stay Branson, right? So think about it that way. What would people search that would make them interested in this video? And then lastly, always add your location in the hashtags in some way, shape, or form. So vacation Orlando, something like that. And then also add the geotag. You can tag the location so that you're always showing up in the area as well. Over time, you start to become a real presence in these hashtags and in these geotags. So it's something that will last you forever. It's like having a billboard that never comes down. Okay, lastly, we focus so much on the actual property and the filming of it, how you tell the story of it. The thing that I think a lot of short-term rental owners miss when they're starting their social media journey is the fact that people aren't necessarily coming to Austin, Texas because they want to stay at your rental. They're coming to Austin, Texas because of a conference, because of the food, because of a family reunion, right? So it's not just your property, it's your area. If you want to grab people that have the opportunity to book with you, you need to also appeal to people that are just interested in visiting your area. So showcase what it is that's going on in your area. What are some of the great restaurants, scenes, adventures, places to go, bucket list items. If you maybe don't know a ton of it because you bought in a market you don't live in, so you're like, I'm not the expert, I've got a little list. One, there's tons of stock footage you can use depending on your location. So say you've got kayaking. Well, I don't have footage of somebody kayaking. There are tons of apps that you can use to help source some of those footage, pieces of footage for you. The one I'll recommend the most, and I'll put it in the chat towards the end too, if you guys don't get it. It's called Pexels, Pexels. The Pexels app and the Pexels website provides so much amazing stock footage. And sometimes, depending on your location, they'll have stock footage of your city. If you're an Airbnb in Chicago, they'll have beautiful imagery and drone footage of the Chicago skyline and the Chicago River. So you can go in and use those. If you're in kind of a smaller area, that might not be there, but you can find similar things. So again, paddleboarding, kayaking, focus more on the activities. You can find stock imagery and footage for it. So you can still show it off without being the person to actually create that content. Um, and just talk about like, what is it that brings people to the area? Again, if you don't consider yourself an expert there in all the things to do, there's a great website, the Atlas Obscura. It lists so many amazing things, and tons of them are things that people don't even know necessarily are there. So you can create a, top 5 hidden gems to visit while in Bradenton, Florida, and put together a little, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just the stock images or whatever you have that can kind of reflect those top 5 things. And you can showcase your market that way. Now, when people stumble across that video and they go to your page and then they also see, they're like, hey, that's so cool. I want to go to Bradenton. These are really cool. What else do they have? And now they're seeing your property that they can stay at. And hopefully those things really work together to create people that want to book with you. Right? Because like I said, I mean, it's cool, I guess, to get a lot of followers, but I don't know. If it doesn't bring me bookings, I don't care that much. All right. So in order to really convert people from viewers into bookers, we need to create some sort of urgency and add value. Get them to reach out. So you can do this obviously through limited time discounts, right? This link will get you 10% off if you book within the next 5 days. You can do a free extra night with, booking 3+ nights or 5+ nights, whatever works for your area, and give them a code that they can use. And you can obviously set these to have expiration dates so that they don't go on forever. Something that I'm actually a bigger fan of is these special extras that you can do that are lower cost, and they only happen if somebody books. So offering things like a s'mores kit. If you're doing a showcase of how great your fire pit is, and that experience. And then in the caption, you're telling people that if they book now, they get their own custom s'mores kit, s'mores charcuterie board. Like you can do tons of fun stuff with s'mores. Of course, wine and cheese welcome and local snack baskets, which are all things a lot of our super hosts are already doing. But the guests don't know that. So make sure that you're enticing them to book. And then you add that urgency by saying it's limited time. It works through July 30th. If you are not booked for July 4th, this is a great thing to go out and do right now. Today, get a post out there and say, stay July 4th and get your own fireworks kit, or, whatever you're comfortable doing fireworks wise. Maybe it's just the little cherry bombs, but you know, try and keep it topical to the holiday and get those bookings to come in. Okay, so from here we can open it up for questions. There's a QR code. I'm going to give you guys all a second to um, scan that if you need to, and then I'm going to hop out of screen sharing so I can look at the chat. Okay, so awesome. Any questions you have, drop them in. Like I said, we can talk about anything. If you've had some social media and you're working on a specific issue, please feel free to drop that in. And then I'm going to drop in that app and website. They have both, so you can download the app. Yes, Melissa, this recording will be sent out later today. So please send it away. Yeah, if you guys are working with virtual assistants, this is absolutely something they can do, especially if you're partnering with the Pexels app and they can grab that footage for you. Or if you just get a Google Drive going and just start dropping them footage. Like I said, it's yeah, just show up and take an insane, like clinically insane amount of footage, and you'll find tons of ways to use it. And then there's paid sources as well for stock imagery and stock footage. Sometimes it's higher quality, sometimes it's more specific to your area. So if you're not having great luck with pixels, you can try like iStock, that kind of stuff. It works. It's not super expensive. I just am a big fan of free 99. So anything I can do to do that first, I'm exhausting those resources. Okay, awesome. I don't see any open questions in the chat. I'll stay on again for a minute or two here if that changes for you guys. But I would love to see your social medias. Please send them to me. You can find me on Instagram, that realtor. And I would love, I mean, send me your stuff. I love to share your guys' properties and show people what is out there for them to stay in. So please shoot them over to me. Shoot me your profiles. I would love to take a look. And then if you want feedback, I don't give without ask. So please ask if you'd like me to give you any feedback. I'm happy to do that. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you next week for the next Savvy session.